You didn't like him? Why is that? Why do you say he was awful?
He was just very possessive. Yes, he had traditional views, but it was very more like, no, you are mine. Like, gross.
He didn't like that I liked to party.
If my boyfriend asked me to marry him, I'm gonna say no.
Don't even give these men the opportunity to ghost you, because you should be dating multiple people, especially in the beginning when you're seeing somebody. There's no reason for you to be committed to them unless you're in an exclusive girlfriend-boyfriend relationship.
It's time for women to reevaluate their standards and their approach to dating and relationships.
Hey guys, welcome back to Gets It Out. Now today I got a video from you for men's only. This one is titled Modern Woman is Hitting Them Where It Hurts. Woman Hitting the Wall. Guys, without further ado, let's get right into this.
I know that I look crazy and it's so embarrassing to come crying on the internet, but the stuff that I have been dealing with for 2 years.
Fellas, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a hot topic. Modern women are out to end men going their own way, but it's hitting them where it hurts. We'll explore the efforts to counter the men going their own way movement, why it's causing such a backlash, and the broader implications for modern relationships. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on our latest videos. Let's jump right in and break it all down.
I believe we're at a pivotal moment in Gen Z dating right now. I write a newsletter about youth consumer trends where I track all of these things. And this story was published in The Cut yesterday. They talk about how dating is a total nightmare, obviously, for many people right now. But they get into the fact that singles have always complained about how hard it is to meet other singles. Women in particular have reached a breaking point. I did a story at the beginning of the year where I talked to like 10 Gen Zers about why the apps were so bad. This was a larger story. It's not just the apps. This TikToker stood up on a date about how frustrated she is with dating apps and trying to meet someone. Humiliated, she records this TikTok and it goes wildly viral. Sentiment shared by a lot of these women that they have full lives. This person who's quoted here is a pastry chef. He says 90% of the things I do alone. People want a partner, but they cannot find them. This woman says that she has not been able to find men in person as men look for younger women. She's gonna go up to a scantily clad 21-year-old who's having the time of her life and not a grumpy 31-year-old. This girl says that men are more interested in getting shit-faced in New York City, and she attributes this to like a post-pandemic thing where COVID derailed their prime sexual years, therefore they just don't want to settle down. Another woman here says that she thinks that if men have become more politically conservative, that this online network of men's rights activists are turning guys against women. So there's this confluence of apps are bad, but also men aren't interested.
Yeah, guys, I'm looking at what it says. It says, in getting poop-faced in New York City every weekend, then in committing to a relationship partly because the COVID-19 pandemic derailed their prime sexual years. It did it for everyone, even women too.
Interested in, settling down, and also men are more conservative. What makes the story more interesting is that this I'm looking for a man in finance video has been going mega viral. Obviously it's super catchy, but it's more than that. I actually talked to CNBC for this story. That Lewis is me, but there's this feeling right now with the trad wife and the stay-at-home girlfriend where we are feeling.
And guys, I got to stop it right there, right? Because the woman from I'm looking for a man in finance, she said that game was to make fun of women and their unrealistic expectations. And also, I seen a video that broke it down to where you have like two men, like the man she said, 6'5", blue eyes, a man in finance. She probably has an opportunity to find two men in the world that do that. Wicked.
So women are feeling so burdened. We feel like we're never going to be able to own real estate. We're going to be working forever. Our jobs feel like they're going nowhere often, and we're exhausted. And there's something about a finance guy where it feels like an unlock. How does girl on couch ladder up to this? Part of the reason that this sentiment resonated so much, I'm not going to recite it because it's such an earworm that it'll get stuck in your head, but we all know it. Indicative of something bigger here. As I write in my letter, men in finance are known to be appealing in only a begrudging way. They have the reputation for lacking a personality, lacking time, lacking emotional intelligence, but they make up for it in money. And to Gen Z women specifically who are facing financial challenges like student loans, inflation, and frankly, FOMO. I mean, those tickets to the Eras Tour in Europe cost a lot. Money has become more attractive than ever, but it's not just about being rich or greed. It's about unlocking things that women want and feel like they will never be able to have. To bring it back, it'd be very interesting to see where we are in 5 years with single Gen Zers, because the oldest Gen Zers right now are like 27. The youngest are 14. How many people get married in a generation? How many people have kids? Like those are have larger economic implications. So while these are amusing trend stories and Megan Bonnie thing is funny and a TikTok earworm, also a much larger economic story. And that's why I think TikTok trends are so interesting.
It's time for women to reevaluate their standards and their approach to dating and relationships. It's completely wild that a woman getting stood up on a date makes headlines, while for men, this has always been part of the baseline in dating. Men are expected to face rejection and deal with it, but when women encounter the same, it's suddenly a big deal. Women created these new standards in dating and hookup culture, and now they whine when they face the consequences. They want to have their cake and eat it too. They pushed for progressive feminism, and now they don't want to deal with the realities it has created. It's hypocritical and infuriating. It's interesting how, after years of progressive feminism, many women are reverting to the idea of not wanting to work and just having a man pay for everything. They create problems with their unrealistic standards and then play the victim when things don't go their way. It's typical. What do they expect? They set the bar ridiculously high, wanting a man in finance, 6 feet 5 inches, blue eyes, and then they're surprised there aren't enough men who meet these criteria. It's laughable. Women have always been more materialistic, seeking partners who can unlock immediate financial benefits, rather than building something together from the ground up. It's infuriating how they blame men in society for their own unrealistic expectations and poor choices. They want successful men, but don't want to deal with what comes with it. They expect men to be perfect, without realizing that their own standards are flawed. Women need to take a hard look in the mirror and recognize that their approach is not sustainable. They can't keep blaming men and feminism for their problems while continuing to uphold these unattainable standards. They need to be realistic about what they bring to the table and what they expect from a partner. If they continue down this path, they'll end up alone and bitter, victims of their own making.
You didn't like him? Why is that? Why do you say he was awful?
He was just very possessive. Yes, he had traditional views, but it was very like, no, you are mine. Like, gross.
He didn't like that I liked to party.
Just a lot of the comments that he made were very misogynistic.
These women are babies. What do you mean he don't like that you like to party? No man likes that. These younger guys, these new Gen Zers may, but they're making a grave mistake. And they'll find out later in life when they realize she's going out to party and she's being ran through every weekend. Sad, but true.
And very like not okay. Just like, oh, I don't want anybody else to see your body. Just the way that it was said, I feel like is.
So he didn't want you going out partying. He wanted you to dress modestly. Were there any other things that you considered misogynistic?
Well, he for sure thinks that men are better than women. He didn't want her to have a career.
He was very fast with like talking about the future, and he was like, would you want to still work if you had children?
This guy's my hero. Like, I mean, everything that he's saying sounds awesome. I don't actually understand what the problem is. Like, he sounds great.
Yeah, I think
It's clear that many women have been conditioned to criminalize virtuous desires in men, which creates a toxic dating environment. The ease with which some women throw around false accusations is indeed infuriating and contributes to a climate of mistrust. They often want the best of both worlds without understanding why they can't have it both ways. Many women desire a man who respects them, yet they often struggle to reciprocate that respect. They want to be seen and admired publicly while also desiring a man who fits their often contradictory standards. This confusion leads to a situation where they want a man to be in control, but only in ways they dictate, which is fundamentally flawed. This issue highlights the broader problem today: women seeking everything their way without any willingness to contribute to equality. They want all the benefits without the accompanying accountability or responsibility. The desire for a strong, protective man who they can control reveals an unrealistic expectation that is impossible to meet. These women often dream of being a queen with their man as a knight in shining armor who serves them unconditionally. This dynamic is unsustainable and often results in single motherhood, which is prevalent among many modern women. The influence
And it's wild. Like, it's women want men to serve them, but what are you doing to help me? No woman ever thinks of that. How is he going to sustain you and make sure you have everything you want if he doesn't have everything he wants? What I mean is, what are you contributing? What are you bringing to the table? That's why the guys say that.
of feminism has led to a mindset where many women feel entitled to perpetual benefits without any corresponding responsibilities, further damaging relationships and contributing to societal misery. Misogyny is often misused by women who don't fully understand its meaning, using it to justify their unreasonable expectations. Single women, in particular, often keep other women single by encouraging them to uphold these unrealistic standards. This is why many men are now looking for partners outside their own countries, seeking women who have not been influenced by these damaging ideologies. New Age women have become more toxic than men from any era, creating an environment where trust and respect are hard to find.
And as the man said, I'm a pass bro myself.
The only solution is for men to stay the course and let these women live their lives without engaging in their toxic games. Let them face the consequences of their choices while men seek genuine, respectful relationships elsewhere.
I really don't know when there was this shift in dating. Like in my mind, men chase women. Men chase women. Women get courted. Okay? That's the end of the story. Nothing drives me more insane than seeing these bum dudes ghost these stunning girls. This is absolutely insane. It's insane. This should not be happening, especially at the rate that this is happening. I hate the word playing games, but it's about time that these gorgeous women take that little deck of cards back into their own hands. I think a big problem for this is coming on too strong too soon and worshiping these men for giving absolutely nothing. Also clinging to them and being so easily accessible. Stop saying yes to their plans if they're asking you to come over at 11 p.m. on a random Wednesday. They should be asking you on a date to go out on Thursday night, and they should have asked you that on Monday. I have tried to explain this in like a really like calm, pleasant way before, but it does not seem to be getting through. Don't even give these men the opportunity to ghost you, because you should be dating multiple people, especially in the beginning when you're seeing somebody. There's no reason for you to be committed to them unless you're in an exclusive girlfriend-boyfriend relationship. Now, I'm not saying that
Did you hear that? She pretty much said, be with guys, random guys, don't be committed. And you know, a woman, they'll have one guy, I feel like getting a little frisky tonight, or the guy may be convincing. So what happens? Bodies.
You need to sleep with multiple people. I'm not suggesting that. You can do what you want. I would literally never judge you in a million years. Wow. But you are available to date multiple people unless you're in a relationship. So stop acting like these crusty guys you owe the world to, need to drop everything every time they want to see you, deserve your time. Because the fact is, when they realize that you're so accessible 24/7, drop you like a fly. I promise you. Human nature, sadly, unfortunately, enjoys a little bit of a chase. And that's probably why you like these guys that are ghosting you, because you're making up in your head all these amazing qualities that they have that you've never even seen, just because you don't know them enough. So please stop giving these crusty men the time of day. Enjoy yourself, enjoy your friends, enjoy dating multiple people. Don't cling on to guys too fast, and just be smart about this. You need to drop a guy. You need to just drop him if he's doing these things. Okay, trust me. If he's only texting you late at night to see you, not asking you on real dates, yep. And if he hasn't spoken to you in 2 weeks, no text, no call, no. If he's on his phone a lot when you're together, also no. I could literally tell you 1,000 more, but the thing that I really want you to take away from this video is that you're valuable and you do not need to be desperately clinging to these men that don't deserve you. Thanks.
We've all heard about the sexual revolution and how women became liberated. But what did that really mean for relationships? Essentially, the price of intimacy dropped. Men learned that it was easier to hit and quit rather than commit to a relationship. The quality of women willing to engage in long-term relationships has severely declined. Many women call themselves feminists, but they still want men to uphold traditional roles. Why should men have to be traditional when women aren't? There's a glaring double standard at play. Women expect men to commit 100% of their resources, but they don't want to commit to traditional roles themselves. Why don't these women hold themselves to the same standards they expect from men? They want it both ways, and it's just not fair. If there's no reason for women to commit to men, why should men go all in financially? Unfortunately, modern women seem to respond more to toxic relationships. They're often chasing the same type of guys, finding excitement in toxicity rather than stability. Meanwhile, men who would treat them better remain invisible. It's only when these women get older and the players lose interest that they start noticing the good guys. Today's women often have bad attitudes and a lack of morals, no matter how good they look. Men are waking up to this reality. Women need to start taking accountability for their actions if they want men to chase them. Right now, the majority of women aren't worth courting. They become the prize for the men they don't actually want, leaving men feeling tired and disillusioned. In the end, men are fed up with the current dating scene. They don't want to deal with women who have bad attitudes, lack morals, and offer nothing beyond their looks. Women need to start taking accountability if they want to see a change. Until then, men will continue to choose the single life over dealing with the frustrations of modern dating.
If my boyfriend asks me to marry him, I'm going to say no. Why am I going to say no? Because we started dating 5 years ago. And then a month after we started dating, his friend started dating his girlfriend. And they had a kid after 2 years of being together. We had our daughter after 4 years of being together. His friend pays all the bills in their home. We pay 50-50. His friend got engaged last year. And we haven't gotten engaged. His friend...
See, this is wicked. Thinking is what keeps women single. So if he says it now, 5 years, better late than never. Never. That saying is popular for a reason. And you should feel that way too. Now, what if he has your TikTok and he wants to propose maybe in 2 months? He's thinking about it. He's saving money for the ring. Then he sees this and goes, I don't think I want to do that anymore.
Got married this past weekend. And the crazy thing is that when we started talking, he said, if we last a year, I'd like to get married and try for a baby. So a year came by, nothing. Then he said, well, maybe after 3 years, let's look at it like a lease payment. You get 3 years. 3 years came by, nothing. And then he said, maybe 5. 5 is a big deal. Bet. 5 came, nothing. So I got tired of dropping hints. Got tired of sending ring photos. And I was just hoping that it would happen. So he goes to his friend's wedding this weekend. And I'm hoping that it would be a motivator. But to be honest, at this point, I don't even care. Like, I really don't care. Like, the magic of the idea of how he would propose and all of that, it's like, if you had that much doubt about marrying me, now I have these doubts. Like, why? What do you need? What's not enough? Shoot, I know I'm enough. You're not about to make me feel insecure. So he says, well, I made you the mother of my first and only child, and that should be good enough because that's a big deal. That's forever. And yeah, it's a big deal. That's forever. But like, damn, I'm good enough to be a baby mama, but I'm not good enough to be a wife. So at this point, I'm like, if he proposes, I'm going to say no. Why? Because if it took him so long and he had so many doubts, he thinks it's all under his control, his power. Like, when I feel like it, that's when I'm going to propose and she's going to say yes. No. I have some say too. And I can say no. Just because you propose doesn't mean I'm going to say yes. Like, for me to say yes, he's gonna have to pull off a really, really, really nice proposal, like something super romantic, like Backstreet Boys in the background, flower petals, pink flower petals, maybe a violinist on the beach or in front of the castle at Magic Kingdom with fireworks in the background. Something.
So first she wants to get married. Now she wants a grand gesture. When she really want that in the first place? Who knows? But why would you say this out your mouth?
Something to make it feel like it was worth waiting. Damn near 6 years, because we're about to be together for 6 years come this July. So come July and there's no proposal, I'm going to say no. If he ever asks. And if he doesn't ask, I guess I'm just his baby mom.
First off, let's address the elephant in the room, comparison. Comparison is the thief of joy, is a saying for a reason. The moment she started comparing herself to her boyfriend's friend and his wife, she set herself up for disappointment. It's easy to look at someone else's life and think they have it all, but we rarely see the full picture. Throughout the entire video, she insists she doesn't care about getting married anymore. But let's be honest, she clearly cares. Her feelings are hurt, and she's jealous. Not only is she jealous of his friend's new wife, but she's also frustrated that her boyfriend isn't the man she wants him to be. She keeps comparing her relationship to theirs, which is a huge problem. This brings us to a critical point. She's blaming her boyfriend for not living up to her expectations, but she's not taking responsibility for her own happiness. She's been with him for 5 years and feels like she's just a baby mama. If that's not what she wants, why has she stayed in the relationship? It's easy to point fingers, but she needs to look at her own choices too. And then there's the lavish proposal she's dreaming of. Sure, everyone wants a memorable proposal, but when you make it all about a grand gesture, you lose sight of what's really important, the commitment and love behind it. Maybe her boyfriend hasn't proposed because he feels the pressure of her high expectations. If she wants a proposal, she should focus on building a strong, supportive relationship rather than demanding a fairy tale. And here's another harsh truth. She's jealous of his friend's wife, but what does that really say about her? Jealousy often reveals some women's own insecurities. Instead of blaming her boyfriend or his friend's wife, she should take a hard look at herself and figure out why she's feeling this way. Is it because she's not happy with herself or her own life choices? Blaming others is easy, but it doesn't solve anything. Lastly, let's address the expectation she has. She wants her boyfriend to be someone he's not. If she's not happy with who he is after 5 years, maybe it's time for her to move on instead of trying to change him. It's not fair to him, and it's not fair to her. Relationships are about accepting and loving each other for who you are, not trying to mold someone into your ideal partner.
I turn 29 in a few days, and I am very single. I just have heard a lot of conversations lately about the dating culture, particularly here in Melbourne. I go on dates. I enjoy it. I dealt a lot of rejection. And after a while, you start to question what it is about yourself. There's only so many times that you can hear, "You're great," but to wonder what it is about me, you know? I so badly want someone to share life with, and my heart is constantly open. A lot of people in my life have said, just take a break. That could be what I need to do. I won't get out.
She's at the big epiphany stage, and she cries herself to sleep probably every night, going, why am I not married? Me oversharing about my dating life to the internet. Why am I not married? Will someone marry me? But I want the right guy. Rich, 6'5", blue eyes.
What I want unless I put in the work. Maybe he's out there. Maybe you're watching Man of Melbourne, 29 and above. You know, it's a really cool tradie. Maybe he plays AFL. I don't know. You never know the power of the internet, and I have hope, and I hope that he is out there. If you're watching, or if you know someone who should be watching, slide in. I don't know. Oh.
First off, let's ask a critical question. What exactly do modern women bring to the table? Many women today are held hostage by their own unrealistic choices. They've told men they don't need them, proclaiming they are strong, independent women who can do it all without a man. This mindset has led to a significant shift in dating dynamics. Remember the movements that highlighted how men supposedly didn't take no for an answer? These movements led to men facing severe consequences, with some even going to jail because of the hashtag #MeToo movement. Women demanded respect and wanted men to stop approaching them constantly. So, men listened. They respected these wishes and went on their way, finding women with different, more approachable attitudes. The core issue here is mixed messages. Women need to make up their minds about what they really want in life. They need to communicate honestly with men and tell them what they're looking for. Mixed messages just don't work. Men are left confused, unsure of whether to be traditional providers or to treat women as entirely independent equals. The proclamation of independence and the demand for respect have had unintended consequences. Men have adapted by seeking out relationships with women who have clearer expectations and more cooperative attitudes. Modern women, meanwhile, find themselves trapped by the very standards they set. They wanted independence and respect, but now they struggle with the lack of traditional commitment from men. In the end, women need to reevaluate their expectations and communicate clearly with men. If they want traditional relationships, they need to bring traditional values to the table. Men are tired of the mixed signals and the unrealistic demands. It's time for a genuine conversation about what both sides want and need.
So I've been seeing this stuff going around social media where 1 minute ladies want to be independent, do their own thing, and then the next they want a man to take care of them. So my question is, women, as a collective, what do we really want? We keep saying we fighting for equality, which I don't know why. We already have equality. There's no reason to fight for something we already have, because the women before us already did that. So we fought for equality, and we were saying we were so oppressed and we couldn't work and the men wouldn't let us do anything. Now we're able to work, and now a man saying, hey, you work now, you should contribute to the household. Now it's, why do I have to contribute? Another thing that's annoying, why is, as Black people, we're always comparing ourselves to other races? Stop acting like Black men are the only ones asking for a woman to help out in the household. That is not the case. How many times you seen other race of women helping out in the household or helping out outside of the household? So we have to choose. Either we want to work and be independent and help out, or we want to be oppressed and sit at home and cook and clean.
It's clear that many women today want the best of both worlds, a grizzly bear and a man who can protect and provide, while also being sensitive and catering to their every emotional whim. Their feelings dictate their expectations, which often leads to wildly unrealistic standards. These women often want a man who is tough and rugged, yet also emotionally available and understanding. They seek a partner who can dominate the world and then come home to be a loving, attentive partner who fulfills their every emotional need. This is a fantasy that rarely, if ever, exists in reality. The problem is that their feelings and desires are constantly shifting. One day, they might want a strong, silent type, and the next, they might crave someone who can talk about their feelings for hours. This inconsistency makes it nearly impossible for any man to meet their expectations, leading to a perpetual state of dissatisfaction. It's no wonder that so many men are opting out of the dating scene altogether. They see the impossible standards set by women and realize that no matter how hard they try, they will never be enough. This constant shifting of expectations and reliance on feelings over rational thought creates a no-win situation for men. Women need to take a hard look at their expectations and realize that no man can be everything they want all the time. They need to understand that relationships are about compromise, mutual respect, and realistic expectations. Until they do, they will continue to set themselves up for disappointment and loneliness. By blaming men for not meeting their ever-changing standards, they are missing the point. The issue lies in their own unrealistic expectations and their inability to understand that relationships require effort and compromise from both sides. Until they can come to terms with this, they will continue to be dissatisfied and alone, living with their cats and wondering where all the good men have gone.
This is a list of jobs that my future husband cannot have. Number
And that lady too, she hit on it perfectly. What do we really want as women, right? We can't compete with men. She's pretty much saying, join them. You can't beat them, just join them. Let's live in unison. But most women don't see it that way. You know what they consider her? A pick-me.
one I've realized recently is a police officer. I cannot have a police officer, and purely on the fact that, what do you mean you are handcuffing another woman? What do you mean? Sorry, no, thank you. Number 2, quite obviously, is I don't want my future husband to have the job title as a masseuse or a massage therapist or someone who massages. Sorry, why are you touching other women? Why are you doing that? No, thank you. Number 3 is someone who works in customer service. Sorry, you're talking to other women? No, honey, you're not. You cannot do that. Sorry. Number 4 is a firefighter. I really used to love firefighters, but recently, no thank you, because what do you mean you're saving other women? What do you mean you're rescuing other women and putting them over your shoulder? Sorry, no. Sorry, not happening. Number 5 is pretty much any job that you have to work with other people. No. You can be a businessman who works on his own. That's literally the only job title, unfortunately, I will. Or if you work with other men, fine. I'll let you off on that one. I'll let you off. But if a woman comes around, unfortunately, you have to quit the job.
With this mindset and her laundry list of expectations, she has already set herself up for disappointment. It's clear that many women today have unrealistic standards that no man can meet. They want a man who is tall, wealthy, handsome, and perfect in every way, without considering what they themselves bring to the table. Living with these unattainable expectations will only lead to a life of loneliness and regret. These women are chasing an ideal that doesn't exist, and in the process, they are missing out on genuine connections and relationships. They are setting themselves up for a life of living with cats, lamenting their poor choices, and wondering why they can't find a good man. It's time for a reality check. Women need to understand that no one is perfect and that relationships require compromise and realistic expectations. Instead of holding out for a fantasy, they should focus on finding a partner who shares their values and goals, someone they can build a life with. By clinging to these absurd standards, they are ensuring their own unhappiness. They need to let go of the fairy tale and embrace the real world, where relationships are built on mutual respect, understanding, and effort. Only then can they hope to find true happiness and avoid a future filled with disappointment and a house full of cats.
Hey guys, that video there was for men's only, and as he said at the end, right? That's what most women need to do, but do you think they'll do it? No. That's why that statistic stands, and I think it will hold true, where about 2030, around 40% of women are saying that number keeps increasing, it seems like, will be single, lonely, and don't have a man and don't have anyone to help them take care of things. And it's going to be at a time when winter is here. That's the sad thing. Not for all women, but for a lot of you. And that cat thing is standing true as well. It's going to be a sight to see, but it's going to be a sight we all see. Thank y'all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. See y'all next video. Peace out.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly.